So hi everybody and welcome back to Unreal Engine 5, a full game tutorial series for absolute beginners, and this is video 29. And in this video we continue with our game, of course, and we are in the section where we want program gameplay, and I will only make one basic gameplay. And yeah, that's it for this video. But before we go there, let's check our time. So this Epic Mega Jam starts in 10 hours, and my time limit was that I finish this game and release this game before this game starts, and it looks like I will release it, but only the very basic construct without the phase 2. Phase 2 would be normally where you add your creative ideas, graphics, music, gameplay, all these additional parts. When you start to finish all this kind of stuff, I skip now. I will just release the basic thing what we have here, but before that, in this video we add one more part, which is one gameplay part, and yeah, that's it. And then I go and release this. We will pack this, of course. We will ship this to our final project, test this one more time, pack this, test this one more time more after we pack this, and then we upload this to itch.io. I won't not upload it to the other places because you have to pay fees, and like I said, this is just phase 1. This is not the final product, so I will probably work afterwards more, a little bit more, and then we can upload it also in other places, but they want yeah, entry fees for apps, and this one is anyway just a demonstration app, so that's okay. All right, with that said, we should go starting here. So here, what we do today, first of all, let's see the overview here. So I already said we are in the section of gameplay. We finished here a lot. We also started here gameplay coding, and in this video there is one specific part, which is the difficulty of our game, because we made a lot of things in our game so we can start it, and now I changed the difficulty. You can see I set up here a level, and I changed also here the length of these obstacles, and of course this one is just for test purposes. It pops up very fast, so that I can test it, level 4, and it goes faster and faster. And my whole setup is just to change the spawn duration. So this is one way. There are a million other ways, there are a million other creative ways, and now I finished. So 325, and then that's the game. All right, so like I said, there are a million different kind how you can make this game more difficult, more entertainment, but this is only one very basic version, a very simple version again, of course, because I want not make much. And what I'm doing is just here, the first of all, where we are, we go into our spawner, because I want to use the spawner. Where is my spawner? Here is my spawner obstacle folder, and this one here, we open up our spawner, and our spawner's job is just to spawn these obstacles which we calculated. It spawns one time here and then again here, and all time it switches sides. And when we go to the event graph, this is the part which we know. Here we calculate the wall sides, here we spawn the obstacle. It is just one cube, and then we scale it. And here I changed the scale numbers because there was all time this little number. So what I changed is here, first we set up here the new scale 3D X value 0.5, that it's okay. Y it's also okay, but what I change is this here, this random float in range. Now I set min is 1, which is the original number more or less, and max I set to 5. Now we can 5 times longer, right? So we can have now 5 times longer in y-axis. So, and it looks like when we see this here in action, you can see now these obstacles, they are much longer now, 5 times longer than the basic cube. What was our basic obstacle? You can see our basic obstacle was this one here. I use only one obstacle here, by the way. Here, this one obstacle, when I put it here in the scene, this is our basic obstacle, and you can see this scaling makes it randomly 1 till 5 times longer. That's the way I make this. So this is the first change I make, and what I reach with this is that the player must now first of all, this obstacle is not all time the same size, so there is a variation of the size. Here, one more note. Of course, I could add here one more factor, for example, speed. I could change the speed as well, so that the obstacle is going down faster, but I skipped this part because this is additional work, and I just concentrate now on the spawn duration time. What means the spawn duration time? This obstacle spawns in when I go here away, let's say every 0.2 seconds, for example. That's not true. Every 2 seconds would be more true. Let's say every 2 seconds it would spawn normally. Let's test this. Let me show you this. So you can see now every 2 seconds it spawns. But when I change now, after the difficulty, I want change now this time here. But right now I have decoupled that, and so it's not changing the time. You can see the time is all time the same. All time, the spawn speed is the same, and when I change now the spawn time here, this one, I can make it manually faster. For example, let's set it to 0.5. This is now really fast. When we compare now this spawn time, I can't react now even, it is too fast, so this would be even not possible. So I have to find a spawn duration which is playable. That was also one which I had to test. I already tested this a little bit. And yeah, but this duration we will change for our settings. And what I use here is I promoted here, right click this to a variable. So this one here, I created this variable and I called it change spawn duration. So, and the reason why I did this is now I can set this manually later. At start, I set it, I think, to 2. There is the default value, compile, save. Or I could set it also to 1.5 normally. And this is the place where we use this one here. So this is all my setup for this gameplay. So I will just change this spawn duration, and in combination with this random float in range, so which means it will stretch my obstacle. That's it for this thing. But this kind of this kind needs a setup, of course, and then the next thing what I need is I need now change the level. So what I mean is when I set this duration higher, and I made again a very simple solution for that, which is just a counter. So what I did is I created a variable. So I go here to the variable section, plus, and I just created a variable here. You can make this and then call it obstacle counter. And I will just count the obstacles which are spawned. And I set it to an integer because these are full numbers. And then compile, save, and at start we set the default value here to 0 because at start we have nothing spawned. And then what I do is this here. Let me show you this one here again. So what I do is I take this obstacle counter. I know at start it's 0. Then I just add it here because I know this line here is all time spawning one, right? So this is I then take. Here is my spawner, my obstacle, which is the spawned here. And here I count this just. So I add +1. So if this line is called one time, I add to it. And I set again my obstacle counter. I set it to the new value, which is +1. That's it what I did. And oops, that was here the spawn duration, sorry. I mean here the same here, obstacle counter. I'm already blind. All right, let's set this. So the same value here, I take it. Here I add to this value 1, and here I set it to the new value, because now I have 1 here. And I do this all time when I spawn an obstacle. So this is just a counter. That's it. That's why I called it here obstacle counter. So what can we do with this obstacle counter? Don't worry, this looks very much, but actually that's a very bad coding from me. I just copy paste, and normally you don't do something like that, but in my case I wanted not waste too much time, not too much thinking, and that's why I did this. Normally you can code here much better, but yeah, I explain this in a moment. So what I did then is we need this counter. So I count, what I do is in my next step I count these obstacles here. So 1 obstacle, 2 obstacle, 3 obstacle, 4 obstacle, and after a certain amount I change the level. So let's say all time about 5 obstacles, then the next obstacle number is 10 obstacles, and so on. Then I change this number. This one is very fast. This is just for test purposes. We have to set this a little bit slower for gameplay later, but for test purposes, this one. This little note here is just a test duration. I print out the duration. This is just for development purposes here. I will delete this note here later. And here, so what I'm doing here now is it looks very difficult. Actually, it's bad coding, but it is still effective. So what I do is first, let me explain you first what the concept is. So first of all, I want take this counter which I have here, and I say, okay, at start I have 0 counter. After, let's say 5 obstacles, I want change the difficulty, and that's my goal. So how I change this? So after this obstacle, I take here this obstacle counter here. Let's do it because I make this one here now. Let's skip this one for a moment. Obstacle counter, I take this one here, and then I say, okay, the obstacle counter at start, let's say this one is just to print out this level here. This explain it later. Let's explain the concept first. So at start I have 0, and I say, okay, after 5 obstacles or 10 obstacles later, you can change this what you like. Then you say, after a certain amount of obstacles, I want change the level. Let's say after 10. All right, so then you go out here and say equal. You could use also the comparison operator greater, but this is bad. We need here indeed this equal sign, and the reason for that is so that we can exactly set our condition on this counter. When we set a greater, later we can't use this this branch here, and this one is bad coding. That's why I show you in a moment another version. So anyway, so I say, okay, if it's greater than 10, and this 10 I have to write now here because I compare it, and then I say, okay, if this is greater than 10, then I know this counter counted 5 obstacles, then I want change what? And I said, I make it all on this duration here. I want change this duration, and I save this in a variable so I can use this here in this variable. So let's go here, take this duration variable. Which one is this? Change spawn duration, this one here. We get this, no, we set this, because we want set it now. At start it was 2, and now I want set it lower, because lower means faster spawn times. So let's set it to 1.5 for example, and that's it what I do. This is my whole thing here. You can see this setup here is this setup, and what I did because I was lazy is, okay, I just copy this here, I just copy this here. This copies are all levels. This is level 0, so level 1, or let's say this is level 1, It starts here, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. It's just a copy paste because I was lazy. I just copied it, pasted, pasted, pasted. And what I made is here, let me demonstrate you this as well. Let's copy this one, what I created here. Let's copy this, paste this. And the next condition is, if this counter is not greater than 10, it's greater, let's say here 20. Okay, if it's greater than 20, then I will set this to much lower, let's say to 1 second spawn time. It's faster, it becomes faster and faster. And the connection here is important as well. So we come normally from here, we would come here in. So that's here the place where we normally come in. And here, the second time when it comes here, it set this only one time because the next time this counter is bigger. So this one becomes false next time. And we connect this false here because now it can check this condition. So at start, this one is all time going here through and checks the conditions. At start, we have 0, for example. And this one will be activated only on 10. Then it's set it's to 1.5. If it's not 10, then it goes here to false, here to false, here to false, and so on. And it will stay false probably because this one is a bigger number than this one. And if this was already false, then all the other will be false too. And later when this counter becomes bigger, for example 20, then this one will be activated. And then it sets to this one here, and yeah, and then so on. And that's the thing what I did here. This is just going down, and I make the only thing what I do is really here set this duration lower, lower, lower. That you can see I started here with 1.5, 1.25, 1, 0.75, 0.65, and 0.55. So you can see this is just lower duration of spawning times. And that's why it looks like it becomes faster and faster. And like I said, this is bad coding because of course there are better solutions. And this is this solution here on top. This is one way solution which is better. Perhaps there are even much other better ways. And like, yeah, I wanted just something fast. And let me explain what this solution is. We can use a switch instead. All time putting here all these branches. A switch node is similar like this branch is a if node, if you know, when you know a little bit programming, and a switch node is similar to a if node. You can convert it, and that's why we can use this one here as well. And Blueprint, this it means you can use a switch, but the Blueprint version, int version, is not like the programming version. What I mean with that is normally you right click here, you write switch int. So on int, because my values here are int values, right? I get here this int. And the problem is here, when you make this one here, you have now this plus sign. You go here to the plus, and I want change now this value here, this 0. Here the pin 1, I want change this this 0, and this one is not set up, or I can't start index 0. It here stays only start index 0, but no more. But I need to set up this index, and this is not possible with the switch on int. You can use instead this other node, which is simulating this thing, which is you click right click and then switch on what was it, string or something like that. Switch on string, or was this on, yeah, I think it was on string. And when you switch on string, now the string switch can change here the values, and that's very important because I need here the value. For example, in my case I start with 1, so I go to this, I click this, and you can see here this pin names. Here's an array, and this array, we can now set the name here for this array. I need here, for example, 1. I start 1 here. My next value is here 5, for example. Then I can set here 5, and my next value would be 10. And that's it. For example, I could go on, but if you want to go on, you click here a little bit more pluses. If you don't want to use this default value, here's another option. It says has default pin. No, you don't need probably a default pin, only when you need a default pin. And yeah, this one works, but here one more thing, because we are an int, this will be auto converted to a string. That means I can use this int as a string and this will react properly. So, and if you use this little node, then you can replace all that what I did here. And the only thing what you still have to do is probably this one and here this one, but this one is probably also replaceable with anything. Like I said, this is the first part. And let's go now to the second part. So this part here you can replace with this little switch here. And the next part is this is the functionality. Let's keep this one and write here better solution, but I don't use this right now, perhaps later when I optimize it and something like that. So this one we have covered, and now we need to cover the other parts here. What are the other parts? The other parts is actually I think a bad solution for another problem. What is the other problem? This one was already the setup for my gameplay. So what I mean with that is this here, this speed is now set up. You can see it becomes faster and faster. And level 3 now. And here's the string, so I can see that the duration is now here. Right now I have duration of 1 second spawn. Now it's 7.5. And now we have a duration of a spawn 6, what says there, 5.5 already. And now I must already concentrate not to fail. And you see, it becomes faster and faster, and it should become later so fast that the player should be challenged to concentrate so much that he fails. All right, this is working. So what the hell is this code here? And this was again another another fast solution, which was not a very good solution. And what I tried to do is I need to indicate for the player that here another level starts, right? So of course you can't just make it faster, he will react too, but it's better that the player get an indication. For example, this pop-up level 2 and this pop-up level 2 and this pop-up level 3, what you see now here, all this kind of little widget pop-ups is doing this kind of stuff. I think there is a much better solution, but I wanted to make something on the fly, and okay, I said let's create a widget. This is this one. Let's create a special widget which is which has a text and it says level 1, level 2, level 3, level 5 and so on. And I created here 6 different kind of widgets now. Really waste of, probably it's a very bad solution, but and then I just add this to viewport. And then I add a timeline because I need a delay, and I removed this widget which I added here after 1 second. And this I could not use here a delay because I already use here a delay. And I think when you use a delay in one execution line, there is a problem, and timelines are anyway better. So I show you this setup also fast, what I did here. And then you will understand this. Difficult, let's set this one here. I show you this one now. Okay, so what I did is, first of all, create a widget and add to viewport standard, because I want to add this little widget, which you can see here in a moment, to viewport, and later I delayed it after the timeline in 1 second. So how we create this create widget you already know, but what I did here is, because that's not a good solution, but whatever, is I go here, I create in my UI a new folder, right click, create new folder. Here's difficulty, I called it difficulty widgets. Then I created one widget first, difficulty widget, very easy. You can see it's almost nothing in. I created a canvas. In this canvas I place just, so first you write here canvas You just throw this canvas here. I already have one now. And in this canvas, I just placed one text file. You can see it. I just throw one text in it here and scaled it a little bit up. Anchored in the middle. Oops, not this one. And anchored here, this in the middle. You can see I scaled this and then I set the color like so. And then I changed the text here and called it level 1. And you can see that's very easy set up and fast. And after I did this one, of course, I have to make this here a little bit in the middle and a little bit bigger. And you can see very fast and easy, but let's skip this. You can see that's that. And then compile save. And that was it already for this one. No more. So the point is I need now for all difficulty one widget. That's why it's a bad solution. Probably you can avoid this with better coding, but I was lazy. I said, okay, I need 6 of them. Very easy. Let's make just duplicate. So I duplicate the first one. You can see 5 times more. And then I opened up everyone and changed just the number 1 to 2 for everyone manually. And then I have all my widgets which I want spawn. That's the creation of the widget. Not very good probably, but still fast. Very fast. I could do this in some minutes, right? Because I just copy, paste, and change the number. And then I come here, and you can see here then I spawn the widget, and spawning the widget means just create the widget. Again, you say here create widget, and then you select the first difficulty, in my case this one, and then I spawned add to viewport. You can see I add this one to viewport. And if you add this one to viewport, you have here one more option, which is this one here. You can set the set order. I set it to 1. It should be in front, so I'm sure it is in front. So we can see it later. And this one is adding this one. Oops, what I did there, Control Z. Oh, not this one. It was just moving. All right, so you can see this one is this one here. Okay. This one here is just adding the widget on the viewport. That's it. And the next step is important is that you make this on the trues here. When this one is true, we set this one here, our new duration, and then we add this level info here. After that, I want that this widget stays only 1 second there because it is just an info, this level. And how I solve this is with a timeline, very easy. Right click, write timeline. And like I said, you should learn definitely timeline. Oops, when I write it timeline, right, timeline, and I have here different kinds. Where is it? Add timeline here on the bottom. Add timeline. You can see, you can call it what you like. For demonstration purposes, oh my god, I called them else or nothing. Because they are just setting a time actually. I called them nothing. All right, that's of course you should call them something, and then you connect this one just to play. Then you open up this timeline, you add one track. In my case, I float. I don't need this float value. The only thing, I think I don't need even a track here. Perhaps I don't need even a track here. You can delete this. The only thing why I made this timeline is I need this time length here. I set this one to 1 second. I needed just this 1 second because I want that this widget which I created should just 1 second to last, and then I want destroy it. So that's the timeline which I created, and this will take 1 second. And then you have here to choose. We have here this update node, finish node, and finished means this 1 second, this time here passed. It's yes, it passed this time here. So I use then this finish node. Then I know here at this point, I know that this 1 second passed, and then I say, okay, now you can destroy this created widget. What you created here, destroy it again. And what I did here is just destroy from parent. That's very important. There are 2 ways to destroy a widget, or even more probably, but 2 ways which I can show you fast, which is one is just to write here remove widget or something like that, remove all widgets, but this one we can't use because this one would remove our gameplay widget as well, so that's not possible, and that's why we have to use remove from parent. Remove from parent, and you can see it's not popping up, and this option pops up when you select our widget, for example, which you created. In my case here I created here, and then I can drag out here and remove from parent. Now I have this option. I select this one. After this finished, I select it here, and yeah, I was lazy. I just made here this over. Normally I would style this a little bit better. For example, what I mean with style is here perhaps I show you what I mean with style. Normally I make something like that, so it's a little bit more more readable, right? But I was too lazy, so I just made one reroute node and put it above. So, but you understand this, right? So, and this one will, here we create this widget, here we wait 1 second so that the player can read it, and here we destroy it after this 1 second because here it's finished. And that's this setup. I was lazy again. I copied for every line again, just copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. And of course, the only thing what I had to change is this here, this target here, all time connect this one here, bring it up, connect this one here, bring it up, and connect this up. So my lazy work, it looks so much work, but actually it's still fast because it's not too much. But in general, we don't do this like this. But I do it because it's still fast for a little project. And yeah, this one, where's the reroute node? Oh, it's there in this one. All right. So with that said, you can see what I did here is just creating widgets here and destroying them. And this widget which you see here is just indicating level 1, level 2, level 3. And that's why we should also change difficult by spawn. Difficulty set up by this one. And here we should make here another comment for this section. And let's comment this one. Of course, this one was not selected. And we call this one here just create level info. Spawn, let's call this one, oops, let's call this fast spawn level info, and destroy it. And destroy it. And destroy it. That's it. That's what we do here actually, no more and no less. And like I said, this looks very much work. It is just copy paste. And in this case, it's even here, a switch would be faster here. Here is probably another solution as well. So with that said, that is one difficulty setup. And you can see what I have now here is, of course, I set it up too fast. This is just so that I don't wait here on testing, because now I have to test this if this is playable. Because if you set the spawn duration, like I said at the start here, very low, it is impossible for the player even to play this game, because he will jump into one of these obstacles. And that's why now there is a testing phase. You need a little bit time to test this out, which is good, which is what is bad, and so on. Right now I can still stick a little bit in. You can see if I concentrate a little bit more, I could go probably more. And here is one more problem. I have not solved that. The first problem is this number. I don't know why. After 1000, it starts a decimal point. I know it when we print it out how to set it up, but the problem is I don't know how to set this up with this one here, when I get this one here from here, because I get this value from here, and I don't know the setup where, perhaps it's anywhere here and I don't know. I have to Google it later. So what happens is after 1000, the value goes over 1000, it adds here a dot, one dot anything. It's not, it will not kill me, but it's better that this is just 1000, right? One dot is like one. Anyway, that's that I solve later. And I think that's it for this video. Of course, I will here a little bit optimize it. Perhaps I will later optimize a little bit more. And one thing I could do here is, of course, I could kick out this test development setting here, because that was just for showing this values so that I can see it for testing again. I don't need it right now. I know that's working. Yeah, and you can see the values I set here. These values I set here very low just for testing. Here, these values, these values here you have now to test through gameplay, and that takes a little bit of time to figure out, but it's normal. All right, with that said, I think it's all fine. What I do now here is fast source control submit. I will probably make nothing here because I have no time, and that's bad. Okay, let's write here created basic duration difficulty, duration spawn difficulty, something like that. Submit this one. All right, this is my save here, and yeah, I think I stop here, and I think this what we see now, not now, I think I will change here the spawn duration a little bit and then test it in my final project, because I will now migrate all the things what I need to my other project. This will be released in itch.io. I will add no material, because normally I would create here material for this obstacles, and I would create here perhaps music and all this kind of stuff. This kind of stuff I skip now, because like I said, I have only 10 hours time, and right now I have no time. Actually, I have to go. So I will probably just fix here a little bit things, package this one in my final project, and then in the next video we will just package it. And this packaging I make offline, but then set it, release it on itch.io, because I want to show you this setup in itch.io probably too, before the Epic Games Jam starts. All right, with that said, I stop here this video. If you have any questions, any complaints like old time, write it in the comments. See you in the next video, where we set this very, very basic game. We package it and then release it on itch.io and set it up there. All right, and one more tip, of course, if you have not created an itch.io account and you are taking part in this Mega Jam, create an itch.io before you take in the Mega Jam, because like I said, they ask many questions about taxes and all this kind of stuff that can take a lot of time, which you need for your Mega Jam. So don't waste time there. With that, set this up before you start. And with that said, good luck, have fun, and see us in the next video. Bye.